All right, narrative breakers, we're back at it again, and my hair is messed up as always. So, the Chinese TikTokers, they're exposing all of the all of the luxury brands from all across the world because we know America doesn't do luxury the best. We do a lot of things that's great, but when it comes to cars, clothing, we don't dominate those industries. So we know it's typically in Italy, Germany, etc. And we're seeing right now that TikTokers are exposing how a lot of the allegedly, let me put the alleged on there before I get a letter from Louis Vuitton, are allegedly creating a lot of their products in China while claiming that it's being sold and manufactured in countries like Italy. Why are they doing this? Well, I'll tell you, in my opinion, I think it's good. It's good practice because if you're buying a Louis Vuitton bag and you think you're paying for something, and the Chinese manufacturers, they're exposing that you are indeed paying for the qualities that they claim you're paying for. But where it's being developed at is completely different because when you're paying for these products, at least me, you would assume that for the most part, there'll be handmade. But when you're seeing these being made in Chinese factories, it just kind of deters you from purchasing said product, that's the goal they're trying to reach. They're trying to stop you from purchasing these luxury products in response to Donald Trump's tariff. I never thought I would see the day that the Chinese are trying to run off their own clientele, but it's interesting. And it also shows that the China we're dealing with is not the China of 2001, not the China of 2010 even. I don't know if you guys know, China just announced that they will be launching their bridge in like a few weeks, the tallest bridge in the world. And it only took like 3 years to develop. The China we're dealing with right now is a whole different beast. They're confident, and be honest, they're cocky. We're at a point now where China say they're ready to divide from the United States. We saw Russia be able to do it, and I think Russia was able to survive without the United States, and I think China might do an even better job. But what would this lead to? Well, this is going to lead to a lot of people that have these luxurious items being mad with the manufacturers and not Donald Trump. So in that sense, I guess they're trying to tank the American economy. Cool. But they're targeting specifically brands that Americans purchase that they know is foreign. So I don't think it really hurts the American integrity. I do see some footage with people that have manufacturing that sell Trump merchandise, which doesn't even mean it's from the official Trump brand, Trump campaign. But people that supply the Trump campaign, it shows factories from China. That's about the only thing. And that video itself was like 5-6 years old. I'm not really saying anything that's hurting people of their goal. They're really just, tarnishing the relationship of the manufacturers, in my opinion. But we're just in an era where we're seeing the results of trade wars on social media. That in itself, whether good or bad, I think is pretty cool. We're able to see the effects of everything. I remember back in the past when I saw wars, and I used to wonder, how are the people affected? How do the people feel about this situation? And now in this era, we can see people on Twitter, as soon as a bomb goes off, Israel or anything that happens, sends off a bomb to Gaza, we can literally see the people react to the bombs. We can literally see interviews from the people saying what happened, them having to rush to the hospital, their children. We are truly in the age of information. We are in a trade tariff war, and we are witnessing the effects. We are witnessing the other country. It's amazing to me, being born in 1994, just watching the transition of the internet and watching in real time how people are affected. Without further ado, I think it's time for us to go into the video because I think it does a better job of explaining what's going on than just me.
Why are Chinese factories all over TikTok right now? Manufacturers like these guys are sharing videos claiming to expose what goes into making designer goods. They're breaking down how little it costs to put together a product and how much people are then asked to pay once a logo is stuck onto an item. They claim designers like Hermes, who make the iconic but extremely pricey Birkin bag, actually get their bags made in China, ship them to Europe to add their branding, and sell them to US customers for way more than it costs to make. That's the opposite of what Hermes says on its website, which doesn't mention China and has a map showing where they operate in France. So what are guys like this on about? It's all to do with US President Trump's tariffs. He announced 145% tariffs on most things coming from China into the USA. A tariff is basically a tax on stuff that's imported from other countries. That means in In theory, companies bringing goods from China into the US would have to pay the tariff to the US government. But that increase in cost often gets passed on to the customer, who ends up paying more for the product. Now, Chinese manufacturers have appeared to start trade war talk to fight back. They want people to know just how much is made in China and how that shouldn't be a marker of poor quality. Even pointing followers.
Well, I'll say it is, what do you call it? I guess because it's China, can we call it a red pill still? They are red pilling us some on showing us that they are providing very good quality. Because when you think about Chinese, you think of low quality in addition to replicas. So they're saying that, hey, you got to change your perception of this stuff. I know they're pushing out that these replicas are coming from China, and they make you think that the authentic items are coming from like Italy and Spain and stuff. But it comes to find out that the replicas are being made sometimes in the same factories as the official products. Now, it's red pilling me a little bit because it's like, damn, you got an authentic Prada bag created right beside a replica. Like literally, sometimes these factories are attached to the same buildings or they're walking distance from each other. It low-key red pilled me.
To buy copies directly from Chinese factories instead, so they're not having to pay the retail price. But there's a few things dodgy about this. TikTok is banned in mainland China, so there's some suspicion about how these videos are appearing on people's For You page. One account many Americans have reacted to has now been removed. And not everyone's convinced the goods are the same as the real deal without designer tags. The TikToks have, however, sparked a conversation about how transparent brands are, who really benefits from a trade war, and how luxury goods actually are.
This Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the
Something about this though, it's just so hard for me to believe. I've watched this video like 3 times. So hard to believe that you're telling me the Hermes bag, the Birkin bags, etc., those are being made in China. Someone got to come in the comments and just straight up call cap on this.
real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? The thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil. This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat sealed edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost.
I'm trying to figure out what in the hell are... I'm just so confused too. I'm really so confused by all this. And then it's like they're using TikTok as the main source to get this information to us. And it's crazy because Donald Trump was the one that saved TikTok. It just shows that this shit is all business. We saw China just now praising Donald Trump for TikTok. And now there's a whole trade war situation. It really is all about money and business. There is no friendship in this. It's about, okay, you helped us save money here. Now you messing with our money there. And like the more I look at stuff like this, it makes me really question the whole morality of our world. I'm serious. It makes me question how much there really is good and evil. And I know there's good and evil, but let me elaborate. It's starting to make me wonder how much is really about money. And I know people will be like, well, duh, Dom, I'm sure all of it is about money. Yes and no. Because some of it, it made me think it was about morality. Like, I thought that people had stances over something like humanitarian rights or whatnot. And even this China and TikTok situation, this caused me to look at this under a new magnifying glass. Like, I just witnessed China, and you guys might have not seen the content, but I witnessed China champion Donald Trump during the election, saying that he's going to save TikTok. Donald Trump is a great president. Thank you, President Trump, for being understanding, and et cetera, et cetera. These same people are now slandering the United States government for trying to take care of itself. The U.S. government tried to take care of itself by maintaining freedom of speech and keeping Gen Z the #1 app that they love to use. China could agree with that. But as soon as there's a disagreement, the disagreement happens where it can lose them money. And I heard majority of the TikTok banning was because the United States wasn't getting a piece of that. It's like we can't have a major social media platform in our country without us getting a great lump sum of that. And it's like, damn, how much about all of this is about money? And I'm seeing it more so about money than I could have ever imagined. And I know a lot of people assume that it's about the money, but as soon as I stopped being on the outside looking in, it blew my damn mind of how much is just about the money. You'll think, oh, it's some secret ritual or something going on with this, or some energy or sacrifice, when the shit is literally just about money. It's literally just about money. And that in itself makes the world a little bit less interesting to me, because it's not some deep conspiracy a lot of times. It's just about the money.
Of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one bag, the human resource cost will be 600 USD. A package. Now this is not that expensive, it's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil. The only difference is one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of
Louis Vuitton and Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hang Long from Singapore, or Bodin Jurax for their lambskin from France.
Like I said, I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing for, the consumers, because it gives us more transparency on where our money is going and the quality of what we're paying for. So I can't necessarily say I'm against this, because I'm someone that likes from time to time to have some nice items here and there. And if I feel like I'm being robbed, I think it does need to get exposed. But I find it funny that in response to Donald Trump, they're just helping the consumers. I mean, shit, all this does is just makes us demand for lower prices for the products that we're paying for.
Tannery Haas, Italian Tannery, Fight, Labri Tecna from Italy. Guess where I found all those secret suppliers? All in APIF, Hong Kong. It's only the first day of this exhibition. There are still 2 more days to go. Don't miss this. Come over and check it.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs only ship your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crashed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodge tax, and poured billions.
But it's my country. It doesn't matter. I'm going to ride with my country. And I don't like how I'm seeing a lot of liberals, man, standing with China. Like, nigga, y'all standing with communists. At first, y'all say y'all could stand with Ukraine and said that we were standing with communists, standing with Russia. Like I said, this is bullshit. I'm just so tired of politics, y'all. I'm crashing out right now. I'm sorry. I'm tired of politics, bro. I mean, conservatives, at the end of the day, we were like, fuck Ukraine, Russia, Russia, Russia. Now you got these niggas saying, fuck United States, China, 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 China. Bro, both parties will push communists if it makes sense for their party. Let's be real. This is stupid. I will go ahead and admit what both parties are admitting. We are all hypocritical as hell. These countries are communist countries. But as soon as they're disrespecting the people that we don't like, we're fucking with them. How about this? Fuck Russia, fuck China, fuck Ukraine, every country that doesn't assist the United States and not a genuine ally, it's fuck you. And that's easy to say, bro, because this is stupid. We are now gotten to the point where conservatives, liberals have become full-on globalists, supporting other nations that don't even neighbor us. These niggas not even neighbors, but we're pushing them. We're supporting them. We're advocating for them. Fuck these niggas, man. That's how they feel about us. They're manipulating us. We need to become nationalists again and put ourselves first, the same way that they put themselves first, because it's getting crazy to me.
And you got stagnated wages, crippling healthcare cost, cheap dopamine, debt, and flag to wave, property made in China, while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs fit your lies, while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back.
Man, ain't no one about to listen to what the hell you got to say. How you gonna tell us we need to take our country back and that nigga ain't got freedom of speech? Nigga, you literally can't get on YouTube. How you gonna tell us take our country back? This nigga literally can't get on YouTube, y'all. Do you know why Chinese people are telling it to us on TikTok? Because they can't get on any of our other fucking apps. You niggas not free. You don't have any type of mouth to see. This is what I'm saying. And you got people that share this, like, oh, China is owning the United States. China can't even speak, nigga. They don't have freedom of speech, bruh. How can they tell us what the fuck to do if they can't, if they're being told what to do every single day? I don't give a damn what these niggas got to say if they're being told what to say.
I think you need a revolution.
They literally are in a nation that desperately needs a revolution, telling us to revolutionize, man.
Which Chinese factory supply for Louis Vuitton? Let me tell you the secret. Louis Vuitton has many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it. 50% of Louis Vuitton bags are from these two places. Number 1, Guangzhou City. Number 2, Dongguan City. 90% of Louis Vuitton silk is from Wanshili in Hangzhou City. I have a friend who is a manager in the factories of the Louis Vuitton, and he told me the similar quality only needs $50. That's crazy, right? Follow Daniel, help you find the best suppliers.
Yo, so like I said, man, it's a lot of propaganda going on. God damn, man. What the hell is going on in politics? We've become globalists. I've said this time and time again. It pisses me off how much I see conservatives become globalists. And I'll go ahead and say it. Conservatives become globalists in many problems, including the Ukraine, well, not Ukraine, the Russia one, or Israel. We shouldn't have a globalist stance, man. We shouldn't be simping for no country. I stand on that. I don't get it. We're in a time where we need to go back to our roots. We don't need to go forward. We need to go back to how we started, back to American pie, nuclear family. Until the next narrative break-in, follow me, subscribe. See you on the next post. Thank you.